Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise. Here, empowered by Island City, where the beach meets the streets. I am so grateful to feature one of my brothers, Brother William Green. We call him Will Green out of 208. My Filipino brother, who also has so many different diverse ethnic backgrounds in his life and his composite of who it is that he is. Military background in terms of his father and his roots, Rochester, New York, all the way to Boise, Idaho, just a myriad of great experiences, right? But really what we're talking about is a phrase that I hear him say often is gratitude is the foundation of abundance. That's coming up right now on the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise. Now a word from our sponsor.
My Free Pharmacy is the future of pharmacy today. We are a membership-based pharmacy headquartered in Ohio, and we ship door-to-door for your monthly prescription. My Free Pharmacy offers 91% of the most prescribed generic medications in the U.S. 87% of all prescriptions in America are filled with generic medication. At My Free Pharmacy, we are laser-focused on delivering medications Americans actually use. For a monthly subscription of $19.95 for individuals or $29.95 for households, we can ship all your generic medication with no shipping costs. Call us for a free analysis on how we can save your company or organization up to 40 to 60%. Sign up today at myfreepharmacy.com/join and get your generic prescriptions free with a paid monthly membership. Visit myfreepharmacy.com/join and start saving today.
Welcome to the Coach V Show, your Hollywood radio show for personal development with expert insights and interviews to help you, me, and we work to be our best and live our best life. Offering for your consideration success frameworks, behavioral models, and also life lessons that if you should believe and see value in it, that you now subscribe fully and deploy all over your life, leadership, and business. Here on the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise, powered by the Island City Media Group, where the beach meets the streets. I am so juiced and pumped to have one of my brothers from the 208 Idaho, Boise represent, baby, here on the show as we're featuring Brother William Green, that we call Brother Will Green. And he works at Thryv, and he's all into helping people find the missing pieces to their business. And his passion is growing and scaling businesses and helping those that he works with to achieve their goals and dreams and finding new ways to help his local community with the help of his friends. His dream is to continue to impact others by inspiring them to set the example, those up, and coming and help those with knowledge to help those who want to receive it. Welcome to the Coach V Show, your boy, Brother Will Green. Will, welcome to the show, brother.
Well, thanks so much, Coach. How are you doing today?
Doing great, man. How are you, and how's the 208? What's the weather like there lately?
Oh, man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. 75 degrees. It's sunny. You know, you can actually get out there and enjoy it. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's perfect. Perfect.
Nice. Nice. So what is your genesis point? Will, talk to us about, hey, where did it all start, and talk about the roots and the history of your past.
Yeah. So I was born in the Philippines. I'm actually 7 different nationalities, but I am an Islander. I was born in the island, so I claim Islander, man. I do. But I was born on the Subic Bay Naval Base located in Zambales. It's in central Luzon. And my mom, she was a stay-at-home mom while my father worked for the Navy and then for Morse Knudsen, which is a civil engineering company based out of Boise, Idaho.
Right on. And then so talk about being born there and then coming back to the States. You know, everybody else calls this the States. Talk about that.
Well, it's interesting because, like, being born on a naval base, you actually grow up with dual citizenship. And we went back several times, like, to the Philippines, so just traveling back and forth. At the end of the day, I moved over 21 times when I was a kid. And so I got a lot of life experience just
Mm.
having to go and make new friends in different areas and different places all the time. Sometimes I spoke the language, sometimes I didn't, but whatever I needed to do, I needed to get it done. So it was fun. It was fun.
Wow, 21 different times. What's
Yeah.
the life lesson there that you were able to experience and through being in different places, engaging in different cultures, different foods? I mean, because a lot of these places, they're just not different geographically.
Mhm.
They're basically a whole different world, different mindset, different dialects, different languages, different foods. Talk about that. What's the life lessons from that, Will?
I what I found is that there are some things that are quite a bit different, like culture wise and whatnot. And I did learn a lot, right? But one of the things that I really found as a common thread throughout every place that I was at was just the power of positivity, right? And then
Mm,
also respect. That was a huge thing in most of the cultures, especially in the Philippines. Very huge on respect. Everything is salamat po, or with and po is like respect to your elders and whatnot. And so what I learned that from a very very early age, that respect gets you a long way in life.
oh, I love that. I love that. So, what about here in the States? Where is home, and where would you consider, at least for this portion of the show, your childhood home?
So I would probably have to say I did the most growing up, the quickest in Rochester, New York. I was in upstate New York, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, in New York, you think in the city," but it was just like farmland
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. And I have a couple of my brothers from back there, Tim Gardner, as well as Jose Cuble. They are like some of my closest friends and brothers that aren't related to me like with blood, but just straight up like people that I just love and care about. And I miss them every day, and I talk to them just about every day. I try to message them and stuff like that. And so that's where I kind of had my crew. I kind of, as you know, Coach, I had a little bit of a rough childhood, so I was always
Mm-hmm.
looking outside of that experience in order to kind of grow and learn. And those individuals really kept me on a good path while I was in school and kept me out of a lot of things that I could have gotten involved in.
Right on, right on. And so talk about junior high, high school. Where did you go to junior high, high school? Even if it's in different places, what are some life lessons that you learned as a child that you still believe in and engage and deploy into your life leadership today?
I guess the most memorable would be like the Amity Groundhog School that I went to out here in, I think it's in Boise off of 5 Mile. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the most memorable, like middle school areas. I grew up playing sports. I did some football, I did some soccer, I did some wrestling and stuff like that. And like a lot of the stuff that I learned throughout those times, because I was trying to look for, like I said, that direction outside the home, was from the lessons I learned in sports about kind of sticking to a thing and not giving up and continuing to work through things and getting up early and working hard and then doing your homework so you can stay on the team. All that stuff kind of translated and played really well for me to kind of form who I was going to be. It was the only thing that I really could stay consistent with because of the fact that we moved so much. And
Right.
so if I'm going to be on a football team, I'm going to be on a football team here, or I'm going to be a football team somewhere else, unless I'm like out of the season. But sports was a big way for me to kind of acclimate myself to whatever atmosphere I was in. Because if you got a team, then you can just you start to relate to each other. You start to build that synergy. You start to build that group together, and so it was a very easy way for me to acclimate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You get adopted into, or you adopt yourself into a family really quickly in sports, right? What
Mm-hmm.
else about sports? Talk about high school now and how that sports became central in your life, about how you approach what it is that you did, how it is that you um, created your identity. Because for me, that was huge for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
it became my identity being a football player or on the track team or part of a basketball team. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, we just had a really, really good program, and we just had a lot of mentors, I guess, not just in the coaching side of things, but also like in experienced players and everything. We had our teams were just really, really good. And our coaches were really good about setting up the older players with the newer players, and making sure that we were getting trained up in a kind of certain way in order to be able to achieve more, right, together. They taught us a lot, and we learned from each other a lot. And I really valued that aspect of it, because it built relationships with people that are closer to our age at the time, but then also it kind of gave us that extra layer of accountability, right? Like, you don't want to
Mm.
let down your mentor. You don't want to let down the guy that's training you, right? Like, he's trying to show you these things, and like, you don't want to miss that play. You don't want to miss that, that call or whatever. And so it kind of added that layer of accountability and helped us to be stronger as a team.
Oh, that's phenomenal. I love that. I love that how the older guys mentor the younger guys, and then you're with your same class and you grow together. That's phenomenal about sports. Talk about now transitioning from high school, what you learned, and then going into your years post high school. What was that like, as a Filipino with six other ethnicities, 21 plus places that you've lived at, and now you're in Idaho, right? Talk about that.
Yeah, yeah. So, I just we moved out. Well, I moved out here. Actually, I was going to college and over at Rochester University. And what ended up happening was my father got congestive heart failure. So we were pretty scared that he was going to pass away. And so I ended up moving out to Idaho Falls, where he was located, and then we moved over to Boise. But what ended up happening is he got better, thank goodness. And then as a result of that, I just kind of settled out here in Boise, and didn't really have a direction, didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just really loved the area, and I was really enjoying it. So I started in sales, and I started working with men's clothes of all things. I was selling men's clothes over at DeMarco's men's clothing store, and that kind of like led to different things. I've always kind of just been a student. I wanted to learn, and there's a lot of learning that can happen in sales. And so, what ended up happening is I started to kind of grow in that career, and then I moved out of that to outside sales, into business to business sales, and even own my own medical testing company, which I was able to build up for a while, and manage 14 reps in like 17 states. So
That's awesome. From your professional life, I mean, tell me what it is are the life lessons of creating your own business, being in sales, and then really this notion. Every concept is simplistic until you add humans to the equation. Your thoughts on business, entrepreneurship, life lessons, and then, I mean, it is hard to work with people, with human beings. It really is, isn't it?
yeah, it is, and that's one thing that I'm so grateful for my upbringing and everything, because like moving around as much as I did and everything, you kind of grow like a pretty thick skin, right? Like you kind of learn to be like, hey, you know what, this is a temporary situation. I'm not going to get told no forever, that type of thing. And so like I would, I went out because I wanted to be a good salesperson and stuff like that. I started knocking doors, and when I did that, I got told 100 times a day, and I grew that thick skin, and you kind of learn like, hey man, perseverance, and part of that goes back to sports too. Is like perseverance is key, right? You just keep going, right? It doesn't matter how many no's you get, as long as you get a couple of yeses, right? And so that was really a big thing. And then growing a team, actually managing a team,
Mm-hmm.
and growing a team, that's where things kind of got interesting, because not everybody has the same background. Not everybody is motivated, right? Intrinsically or whatnot. You know what I mean? Some people are motivated by, extrinsic forces and whatnot. And so, especially with my type of business, because I created a business that was all 1099 guys that were working with me. So it was even worse, because they're not employees, right? You can't tell them what to do. You have to
Yeah.
just coach, right? And try to bring them along with you. And we did really well. We did really well. But I got to tell you, coach, a lot of times it was like herding cats.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. And I love that term herding cats because cats can't be trained. You know, cats kind of do their thing, right? Not like a dog. A dog can have a certain level of conditioning and training. But cats, man, oh, that's why they use that term as herding cats, right? And the quick factor, especially in today's world, there are so many opportunities out there to do things that, you know, like Uber, Lyft, just, you know, not really work for anybody. That the quit factor right now is like, man, I don't like it. I'm out. Come on. Come on. Is that true about the workforce today? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's very true, and a lot of our small businesses are really struggling with that because of the fact that the labor pool that would normally be serving in those capacities in the unskilled kind of segment are really suffering. They're having a lot of difficulty there, so they're learning new ways to pivot. There's a lot of challenges for sure, but they're also learning, right, and growing. And a lot of these companies that are doubling down and figuring things out, they're really making headway where some of these other companies that are just doing things the old way are kind of falling by the wayside. And so it's interesting to see that change.
Right. That is the dynamics right now, right? And I love it because people are always like, you know, do you believe in participation trophies? No, I think everybody needs to earn stuff, but people that don't feel appreciated will not participate. So just be careful what kind of, you got to earn everything, and then people are scared to earn some things. It's just amazing because I work with kids so much that people are like, "Do you believe in participation trophies?"
Yeah.
No, but I do believe that showing up and engaging and participating is something that we need to teach kids. And if you give an award for that, I think that's all good, you know.
Yeah, I read an article about it, and what it was funny because they were actually picking on participation trophies quite a bit, and what they were saying is that it was kind of for the kids that were really working hard and that actually got the trophies because they deserved it and they won. That they were feeling like, because they took the survey and whatnot, that they were feeling like that they didn't achieve all that much, like it was devalued. And the kids that had the participation trophies, because they got a participation trophy, they were recognized for not doing as well. And so it actually had the opposite effect. It actually made them more depressed. It actually put them in a state to where they felt like they didn't earn something. And so it's an interesting dynamic that you bring that up, because when I was growing up and everything, there wasn't anything called a participation trophy or anything like that. Like, we lost as a team, we won as a team, and that's just the way it was, right? And so, unless you were like an individual sport or something like that, where you were like one on one with wrestling or whatever, but we still had that team aspect, and I think there's something to be said for that, right? That winning as a team and everybody playing that position and doing what we got to do, and making it happen, really solidifies something in a person, and gives you something to hold on to. And I think that's a lot of what we're missing out in the world today is just that team aspect, that synergy that's created.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And I love it. Well, we stay family bonded a lot, but having my daughter, start on the bench for tons of tournaments and having her have to earn it. And then now she appreciates it. And then she becomes the captain. And then they win the championship. I mean, that whole process of going from not really knowing, awkward, weird, out of my comfort zone to now, hey, this is who I am. This is who I roll. And I know that the arts and a lot of different things can teach that. But from my own experience through sports, that's why I love sports, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what do they call these terms, like the Kardashians? What do they call that? Reality TV shows, right? I mean, the first reality TV show was like in Rome, and they're fighting at the Colosseum, and that's what sports is. I mean, that's the reality, unscripted, human nature on display, full platform. I mean, it's amazing, right? Come on, let's finish off on that. Your final thoughts on that before we move forward. I mean, most stadiums on a Sunday hold more people than a church, right? And people follow their teams all over America. Raider fans, the Kansas City Chiefs fans, and all these fans at the Padres right now in baseball. I mean, this stuff, it really solidifies being part of something, right? being a fanatic, being a fan. That's where the word fan comes from, is fanatic, like absolutely crazy about something.
Yeah.
Most people aren't crazy about anything, right? Talk
Well,
about that. Anything come to mind? What comes top of mind, Brother Will?
yeah, no, yeah. For me, it's just like, a lot of us go through life and we think of ourselves as kind of lone wolves, right? We see ourselves alone,
Yeah.
even though we have families, even though we have, work and a team at work and stuff like that, and we treat ourselves like that, right? We isolate ourselves very easily and take our and put the burdens on ourselves and everything. And I feel like that's what a lot of people are missing. They're missing that aspect of saying, you know what, I don't have to do this alone, right? I got people in my corner. I got people that are behind me, right?
Yeah.
I got people that will stand up for me and bear witness and be a part of like what it is that brings us to that level, right? I mean, what you got to think about, like when I was in high school, I knew, right, what it felt like to be a champion, right? I knew what it felt like to win. You know what I'm saying? And if you think about it, like in the terms of like most people's lives right now, that feeling was 30 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
that's a long time to go without feeling that feeling, coach.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is real talk. That is real talk. And then also, the irony of being on a team is the understanding that, okay, so life, leadership, and business is a team sport,
Mm-hmm.
but only you can earn your own success. You have to go and earn your own paycheck. Come on, what an irony, right? And
Yeah.
that's why a lot of folks from the military and people that come out of pro sports, they have these problematic issues of, there's an incongruence with their self identity, with now the ability to look within, you're by yourself, and be able to do things for yourself, by yourself, until you create your new tribe, your
Mm-hmm.
new network, your new people, your new supporting folks. Come on, Will. How ironic is life like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. We don't feel that we can create our own team. And it's like, dude, you can, right? Like
That's
you
right.
can put yourself in the right environment. You can create that. You can surround yourself. You can see, I've been really lucky, coach, because honestly, I've just been honored to have some amazing mentors,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Some amazing teachers, some amazing coaches in my life. I guess like I said, I sought that out because of like what I was experiencing at my house. I didn't have that direction. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it was just a way of dialing that in and having that be a part. And like it's like you, coach, you showed up at the right time, literally at the right time, right? Like I had no idea. And then my friend, my good buddy, my brother, Isaac Naylor, brings you into my life. And just like all of a sudden, like I just said, hey, you know what? I'm not doing this other thing. I'm gonna do this thing. And we've been rolling ever since.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Shout out Isaac Naylor. Also was featured here on the Coach V Show, and you two are really creating some amazing relationships where iron sharpens iron out there in Idaho. And kudos to you both. Talk about kids, marriage. Talk about relationships. What have you learned, and what are some approaches that you would like to give to all of us in terms of approaching romance, raising kids, being a father, and all that? Please.
Never stop dating your girl. That's one thing. Never stop dating your girl. I've got two kids, beautiful. Katrina, she's 23, and my son Isaac, he's 20. I love them to death. They're great, great kids. They just have huge hearts. And my son Isaac, he saved up enough money to fly out to Hawaii, and he's jumped out of an airplane. Right, just did that the other like last week.
Wow.
Yeah. And my daughter, she's just a phenomenal individual. She's got the hugest heart. She will help out anybody, and God bless them that they grew up that way, and that they're just wonderful human beings. I'm just so blessed to have them in my life, and my girlfriend's kids and everything. They're amazing individuals too. They're super busy with dance, and they're just the kindest kids, you know what I mean? And just loving people. So for me, like that's part of it, right? They're part of my team, right? Like to me, I look at it like, hey, you know what? I got to have this in my life. You know, I'm dating a wonderful woman now. You know, when I met her, she wasn't doing that great, but she what ended up happening was she just has worked hard and created something in her life. And now she's like gone from living on assistance to being like basically in charge of a whole Amazon facility. And it's
Wow.
all due to hard work. It's all due to dedication. I mean, she's a 30 or some, you know, I can't tell her, you know, I can't say her, you know, age
Yeah,
on
yeah,
this,
yeah, yeah. It's all good. Don't do that.
but you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, um, she was working circles around these 21-year-old boys, man, and like throwing pallets and things like that for the better part of a year, right? Like just doing all of these things because she's got that moxie, man. She's got that grit. And then what ended up happening, she got promoted. And the woman that she replaced over there, she's still with the company too, but the woman she replaced there has 3 degrees and she doesn't have one. So just an
Wow.
amazing, amazing people that have been brought into my life, and I've just been so blessed, so blessed.
That's awesome. Talk about what you do now and some of the life lessons that you've learned now being with Thryv, how it is that you bring so many amazing solutions to people and really market and promote themselves and their brand in the new era and the way it is we all need to, word of mouth, man, that stuff is good, but
Mm-hmm.
it ain't a strategy. That's no longer a business strategy. Does it work? Yes, it can,
Yeah.
but it no longer brings the high level of performance that's required by marketing and promoting a brand. Talk about that, brother Will.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, we have a different way of kind of like going about things at Thryv. You know, first of all, what we do is we look at like your customer journey. We look at how people find you and how you doing business now and all that stuff. And at the end of the day, really, it's not just about like going and getting those new customers. It's about the people that you've already talked to, right? It's about the people that you already have connection with. And so we help to kind of leverage that information, give them the opportunity to connect in a meaningful way with the customers, always encouraging them to be as authentic as they possibly can, because nobody likes to get spam and nobody wants to see a stock photo, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but you know, once we can get that voice and once we can get them to understand that people want to hear about, you know, your family, they want to hear about who you are, they want to do business with people and make it authentic. We're really giving like these small business owners a fighting chance against these huge chains, right? Like, you know, we're giving, you know, like our flying pie pizza, right? We're giving, you know, here in Boise, and I know that you've had that, right, Coach?
Yeah, yeah.
Pie, right? We're giving that flying pie pizza, right? We're giving those guys a fighting chance against the Domino's of the world, right? And we're giving like, you know, these retail shops like, you know, Lit here in Boise, Lit Candle Company, right? They have 3 locations out here. We're giving them a fighting shot against, no offense to my girl, Amazon, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're putting those types of tools in business owners' hands, and we're giving them a voice, and it's just something I'm so proud and passionate about doing.
That's awesome. And talk about like why are you so personable? Like why do you seem so grateful all the time? Why are you always so positive? And you're able not only to connect and engage with the right people, but then you also attract them into your life. Why is that, Will?
You know, I think it's a momentum thing, right? Like as you meet good people and you start to surround yourself with positivity and good people and you start putting that information into your heart and really internalizing things into your belief system. I think what happens in this universe, in this world, in this life, right? We start attracting that.
Mm-hmm.
It starts coming to you and you know, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you know, it's so lucky, you're so lucky you have such great friends, you're so
Yeah,
lucky.
yeah, yeah.
You know, my life is by design. Like the people that I have in my life and the people that I know and the people that I love and the people that love me, it's by design. And I'm just blessed to be able to continue in that path. But really at the end of the day, it's kind of like Jim Rohn said, right? Yeah, I mean, you got to always Jim Rohn. I know you're a fan of Jim Rohn, right? So like, you know, you got to ask yourself, like, who am I around, right? Like, what are they doing to me? gosh, what do they got me reading, right? There's a lot of reading in what I do with you, Coach, right? What do they got me reading, right? What do they got me saying? Where they got me going? Where they got me, thinking? You know what I mean? And most importantly, right, the people in your life, what are they doing to help you to become who you're going to become? Because if you answer the question and the answers aren't okay, right, then you got to change that. You got to make that change. You got to do something different.
That's right. That's right. In that, so take a culmination of born in the Philippines, Rochester, New York, moving all over the place, ending up in the Treasure Valley. Well, what would be Will Green's message to the world?
For me, having a gratitude at the end of the day, for me, gratitude is the foundation of abundance.
Gratitude is the foundation of abundance. I love how you said that. Say it again.
Well, to me, gratitude is the foundation of abundance, right, Coach? I mean, being thankful, it transforms like any situation. It renews your purpose, right? Like it acts as a catalyst for happiness. Each day is a gift, right? We were chosen to receive that gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about being thankful for, what you have while working for what you want.
Yes, sir.
And
I love that.
That'd be my message.
I love that. So thank you everybody for tuning in here on the Coach V Show, powered by Island City Media Group, where the beach meets the streets. We are on with brother Will Green, and we're talking life, leadership, and business. And we have a couple minutes here where we could just put Coach Will Green on the hot seat. So when we come into the Treasure Valley, the airport's like 5 minutes away from downtown. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then at the most 10 minutes off of 10 minutes away from Eagle Boulevard, right? Where we could get to all the shops and stuff, 12, 15 minutes at most. Where do we go to eat when we land in Boise, Idaho? Where's the first spot? Let's name 3 of them. What are the first spots that we need to consider? What are they?
All right. I'm going to go with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, if that's okay, Coach.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So my first choice for breakfast, Bob's Restaurant and Lounge out in Nampa. Bobby owned restaurants for years. He just opened up a new one here about a couple of years ago with his wife, Mary D. It's a family-owned run restaurant and everything. They make their own sausage and all that stuff. It's super, super good stuff, right?
Yep.
For lunch, it's kind of a toss-up because my boy Isaac, man, he's got that chicken paste fiesta chicken. It's so good.
Yeah.
But it's a toss up between that and Big Daddy's the Meridian. Kirsten
the
Gray.
Burger place?
No, Big Daddy's.
What is that?
Barbecue. Yeah, Big Daddy's barbecue.
Oh, Big Daddy's barbecue.
Yeah. Kirsten Grigg and her mom own that place, and they run it together. And it's just another family-run restaurant. I love it. It's just so good. We meet there with Joe McKiddish from Do Work. We meet there on Fridays, and it's always good. Never disappoints.
Okay.
And for dinner, I'm gonna say at home. I love my home cooking. Carissa, my girl, she cooks some amazing.
So Carissa's is the restaurant. Carissa, I'm gonna land. I'm coming over for dinner.
Man, she can put a skull on some fried chicken. Oh my goodness. I'm like, oh man, so good.
I love that. And then lastly, this is a quote you've heard by being a part of my program, and you're just a high level cat. That's why I want to get you on the show, so we could try to introduce you to more people and connect you to more people. What comes top of mind when I say this Coach V quote? There's money in the transaction, but the wealth is in the relationships.
Yeah. For me, it's about. For me, like I said, it's about the synergy you create in your life with the people that are in it. The thing is that when you work with other people, you achieve more, right? And that's just the bottom line. Than you can do on your own. when you synchronize that power and that effort and that will and contemplation to get to greatness, right? Without having all that other stuff, without having that ego, without having that pride, without having all that selfish desire, right? That is when, and you start to give back, right, to the community. That is when I feel that true wealth is. I mean, money is the least impressive thing about wealth.
I love that. I love that. And what's the final about being on the Coach V show before we sign off, Brother Will?
Coach, I'm just grateful for the opportunity, not just to have gone through your training and everything, but to have been able to actually work with a lot of the coaching students that you have and be a part of that process. I appreciate your trust and your investment in me on an individual basis and your friendship. But moreover, I know that you're changing the lens at which people are looking at this world. And ultimately that means that you're changing their experience. And, if I can even have a quarter of that type of impact in people's lives, man, I won already.
Oh, yeah, you're going to win because you're already doing it, brother. And ditto, I feel the same about you. So thank you so much, Brother Will, for coming on the show. And thank you to everybody who's tuning into this episode of the Coach V Show, powered by Island City, where the beach meets the streets. We're going to be here every Motivation Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Dash Radio app, on Facebook Live. You could also find this on YouTube and on Spotify every Tuesday as it's broadcast via the Coach V podcast. And so thank you so much for everyone for tuning in. And for Will and I, it's just not for the sake of success that we ask that you would tune in or we engage in this type of discussions, right? But really it's for the sake that you be your best. Because in doing so, you realize the best of your abilities and that everything and anything that you dream, work, and pray for can be achieved. This is how your boy Will and your boy Coach V, this is how we live, all about faith and family. Grateful for God's amazing grace. Until next Motivation Monday, thank you so much for tuning in to the Coach V Show. Until next time, from your boy Will, your boy Coach V. One love, mad respects, live it. Peace. Choo!